Hey y'all, it's Debbie with Tailored by Debbie, and today I'm going to show you how to make an evergreen and Deco Mesh wreath. And it's kind of a winter theme. I got this sign from my local wholesale supplier. It is a metal sign, and you can pick up a sign similar to this at most any craft store. So you're going to need a metal sign, and you can also pick up these evergreen wreath frames at craft stores, and this one is a 24-inch Canadian pine. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the tag off. All right, the first thing that you want to do is fluff up your wreath. A lot of times when you get these from the store, they're all kind of flattened down, and you want to take and fluff it. Okay, so just go around your wreath and pull them and straighten out your pine. Well, it's faux pine, but you're going to straighten out and fluff up all of these pieces on the wreath. It just helps bring the wreath to life. It helps it look more realistic. So it's a very important step, and it just takes a few minutes to do. Okay. All right. And you can do as little or as much fluffing as you want to, whatever is your taste. But the more, the more time you take fluffing it, the better it's going to look. Okay. I already did a little bit of fluffing before we got on, so it wouldn't take me as long. Don't want to hold y'all up just watching me fluff a wreath, for a very long time. But that's kind of the gist of it there. You just fluff and pull all those pieces of greenery apart. All right, and then the next thing we're going to do is prepare our sign. And the sign, this particular sign comes with one hanger already up here in the corner, but I'm going to want to attach something in the bottom corners to be able to attach this sign to the wreath in more than one place. If not, the sign would flop around like when the wind blows and things like that. And what I like to use to attach my sign is these little, they're called cable tie adhesive mounts. And you can get them on Amazon. You can get them in Home Depot and Lowe's and places like that. It's got places for you to slide a cable tie, or a zip tie is what I call them, through. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to be slipping a pipe cleaner through it. Now, it does come with a peel and stick adhesive, but I don't trust the adhesive on these. Especially in cold weather, sometimes the adhesive piece will just pop right off these metal signs. Let me get some of this shedding from the greenery out of our way here. That's just a given. When you're working with the evergreen wreath and you manipulate all those pieces on the wreath, you're going to have some shedding. Okay, so what I like to use, and I'm going to shake it up just a little bit. The directions say to shake it and then tap it. I like to use the Gorilla Super Glue, and I like the gel because it doesn't come out real fast. If you use the liquid, it comes out fast. And all you need is a drop. Be careful not to get it on your fingers. It'll make your skin stick together, and it's not fun. Take it from me. So just one little dot. And I do like the gel because it doesn't run. It's less likely to get on your skin. So just put a dot of the hot glue and then stick it on there, and that will help secure it and keep it from popping off. Okay, we're going to set that aside. It should be dry in about 10 seconds, but I'm going to set it aside to dry. And now we're going to get our mesh, and I'm using a buffalo check, black and red. Kind of matches the sign that we have. I got this at Hobby Lobby, and right now their Christmas is 60% off. And I like this mesh. It's almost like a fabric feel to it, like a polyester. It's poly, mesh, but it almost feels like a polyester fabric. It's of the mesh that you can buy in the craft stores. This one is one of my favorites. Okay. All right, so just gonna take off that plastic, and we're gonna get our wreath back up here. And we're gonna make some Deco Mesh poofs all around this evergreen wreath. Okay. When you're getting ready to use your roll of mesh, take and put your roll with the, don't do it this way because you'll have a hard time. You want to have the roll up with the fabric under. Just makes it easier as you're trying to roll and manipulate the mesh. Okay, then on the end of this piece of mesh, I just kind of ruffle it, gather it together like so. Okay, just kind of pinch it. All right, and then we're gonna find 2 pieces of the greenery sprigs that are close together at the bottom. Okay, if you don't, then the mesh will slide out really easily. You want to make sure they're really close together. So just stick it down in there. Leave about 1.5 inches, 2 inches sticking over here. And then you're just going to twist really tight that first time. And then 1, 2 more times. And then just take this end that you just stuck in there and push it down into the greenery to kind of hide it. Okay, now I have a cutting mat. And that's what I use to measure my mesh. And I'm going to do 10-inch poofs. I tell you what, let's do 12-inch poofs. So I'm going to measure from 10 over to 22. Then you want to come back about halfway to 12 inches, a little less than halfway. And then you just want to find 2 greenery sprigs. Stick your mesh down in there. Twist it a few times, then take your piece of poly mesh and just kind of poof it out, okay? So we're going to do the same thing again until we go all the way around the wreath. So 10 to about 22. Come back a little less than halfway. Okay. And then I'm going to take 2 ties that are close together and twist it. Okay, and then just kind of fluff out my poof. All right, we're going to measure it again. 12 inches. Come back a little less than halfway. It just makes a prettier poof if you, you know, don't come all the way back over here, then it's just kind of scrunched up. So I don't go for perfection on this. I just kind of wing it, to be honest. I don't think you need to be perfect. That would take all the fun out of it for me. I like it to be pretty, but I don't need it to be perfect. Okay, so you're going to kind of go 12 inches, come back a little less than halfway. And then take 2 ties that are close together at the bottom. Sometimes you have to push the other ones out of the way. Twist it a couple more times. And then fluff out your poof, okay? And we're going to keep doing this until we get back over onto this side. It won't take us that long. Just unroll your mesh. Okay, measure out 12 inches. And then come back about a little less than halfway. I know I'm being really repetitive here, guys, but it is what I'm doing. Just trying to teach y'all or show you how I do it. And this is what I do. Okay, then, and be careful when you're fluffing out your poof not to pull too hard, because you can separate and make like a hole in the mesh. I found that out the hard way. So be gentle with it as you're manipulating and using it here. Okay, 10 to 22. Sorry if I'm moving a little too fast there. The wreath is sliding on my mat. Okay. Just twist it a few times here. And then be careful with these little greenery sprigs in the middle, because it can rip right through the mesh and make a hole. So just kind of scoot any of greenery that's right behind it out of the way if it's like sticking up really forcefully against it. Carefully fluff out your poof. Okay, and then we're going to measure 12 inches. Come back a little less than halfway. It looks like we have room for maybe one more poof. Okay. Let's see, I think it fit better right there. Here we go. Get that first one really tight and then twist it a couple more times. All right, then fluff out your poof. And this one's kind of wanting to be flat, so I'm going to take a piece of greenery and stick it up in the inside to help hold it over. All right, one more. 12 inches, and we're going to go back to where we started. And what I like to do is take a piece of greenery that I used to twist, take one of those, the longer piece, and then go right beside it and find another piece. So it's going to look like it's never ending and just goes round and round the whole wreath. You won't be able to tell where I started and where I finished, okay? Then you're going to take this end, cut maybe 1.5 to 2 inches here, okay? And then you're going to take this and then just stick it down up underneath that poof beside it, okay? I'm going to fluff out that poof. So that part is done, okay? Now the next thing I need to do is count how many spaces that I have in between these poofs. So I usually put my hand here, and this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I need 8 curls. And what I do to make the curls, let's put this aside. Actually, let's do cruffles. Cruffle is a combination between a curl and a ruffle. And see where I just cut that mesh? It's kind of a jagged end. So I'm going to take this and just cut it to straighten that up. Okay. My blade on my rotary cutter is dull, so that's why I'm not using that. Normally I would just use that, but it's a little bit dull. I need to get some new blades. So what we're going to do here, turn it around this way, I'm going to measure out 15 inches. Okay, and I'm going to use my rotary cutter. Normally I'd use my scissors and cut it with my rotary cutter, but like I said, my rotary cutter blade is dull. So I'm going to cut these. We need 8. So there's 1, 2, and it doesn't take that much longer with scissors. It's just not as convenient, but sometimes things happen and you have to adapt. So that's what we're doing. 3, 4. Okay, 4 more. 5. 6, 2 more, 7, and 1 more, 8. Several of them just fell on the floor. Okay, so I'm going to put this to the side over here. Grab these that fell down on the floor. Okay, and I need to pick up my wreath. All right, a cruffle is really easy to do. Let's set our wreath right here. All right, I'm gonna push it over a little bit. To make a cruffle, what you want to do is take your mesh and on each end, just curl the edges because mesh will fray. So you want to take and curl each end under, okay? And then you want to ruffle the part in the middle that's left, and that makes what's called a cruffle, okay? And you can even it up if you want, and then pinch it in the center. And what you want to do in this design that I'm doing today, I'm going to come back in between. So I'm going to unwrap what I just did, and I'm going to lay this cruffle in here and then twist it back, okay? Let me show you one more time, and then I'm going to speed up the video and go around and finish those. Okay, so you're going to take your mesh and you want to curl it in on each side, like so, and then flip it over. It's catching on my mesh down here. Flip it over and then ruffle it in the middle just by scrunching it up, okay? And then you can straighten it out if you need to a little bit. And then we're going to come over here and untie this tie right here a couple times. Stick it down in there. You can put the curl side up or the curl side down depending on what look you're going for. I'm putting it curl side up. This just helps to put those ends on the inside where you won't have as much fray. But that also helps to fill the spaces that you have in between your poofs. Gives it a little bit more elegance and fluff, and just makes it prettier. All right, I'm gonna do it one more time. Make sure y'all can see. Just turn those curls, then flip it over, cruffle it through the middle, and then you can adjust it if you need to on each end to kind of even it up. Okay, and then we're going to take it and we're going to undo right here where we had twisted it. We're going to undo it twice. We had twisted them 3 times. We're going to undo it twice. Stick it down in the middle there. And then make sure it's tight and twist it a couple times. You're going to have the greenery kind of in the middle of it too, which will bring in a little bit more of that color in the center of your cruffle, which I think is pretty. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and speed up the video here, and we'll come back when I'm finished making all the rest of these, okay? Okay, so now we have all of our cruffles done, and all we need to do is attach our sign and our bow. So I'm going to show you now how I attach my sign, and I'm going to use pipe cleaners. Okay, you need 3 pipe cleaners. You can buy pipe cleaners just about anywhere. You can find them at Walmart, craft stores. All right, get some of that mess out of the way. All right, I'm going to stick my pipe cleaners through those cable tie mounts. And I'm going to give them just a couple of twists. All right. This makes it really easy to attach a sign, and you don't have to punch holes in the metal. I do have a metal hole punch, and you can use that to attach, punch a hole through the metal and attach it that way. But if I can, I like to use the mounts, unless it's like a slanted sign where the mount won't attach flat. Then I would consider punching a hole through it. But you just attach those in the, 3 or 4 places. If it had a square sign, I may attach it in all 4 corners. But on this sign, we're just going to attach it here. All right, and something that I like to use to attach my signs when I'm using pipe cleaners is these yarn needles right here, okay? These you can buy, I think I got these at Walmart, and they're not expensive. but you can take the pipe cleaners and put it through the eye of the yarn needle and then bend it over just like you're threading a needle, just like this, okay? And then you're gonna take and turn your sign over, and you wanna feel on the bottom of the wreath, you wanna take and come through these two wire, or if your frame is a little bit different, you just wanna come up through the wire so you have something good and sturdy to wrap the pipe cleaner around. So that's what I'm gonna be shooting for. I'm gonna take my my pipe cleaner on my yarn needle. I'm gonna take the yarn needle and push it down through to where I feel it coming through the two pieces of metal on the bottom. Okay, I'm gonna turn it over and show you what I'm doing. Came through those two metal wreath frame pieces, and see how that needle just comes right up through. Then you just take the needle off and you've got your two pipe cleaners here. We want one pipe cleaner to go on either side of the wire wreath frame, and you're just going to twist it 5 or 6 times. Okay, let's see, let's make sure that's how we want it to be. I think I need to go down a little bit lower actually, so I'm going to take that back off and put it on the lower of those two wire wreath pieces here on my wreath form, because I think I want that to go down just a little bit lower. Okay, let's see how that's going to look. Pull it down there. Okay, twist it about 5 or 6 times. And then I'll turn it over. Yeah, I like that better. Okay, that looks good. So now, I'm going to turn that back over. And where we just twisted that, after you twisted it 5 or 6 times, you're going to cut it about 1 inch left here. You're just going to take that and stick it down into the wreath, okay? So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take this pipe cleaner. We're going to thread our yarn needle with the pipe cleaner. And I'm going to turn it around and feel where that wire, where the 2 wire wreath form pieces are. And you don't want to pull your sign tight. You want it to just kind of be resting on top. We're going to turn it over, take our needle off, put 1 piece of the pipe cleaner on each side of the wire wreath form. We're going to twist it 5 or 6 times. Okay. And then we're going to cut that off, stick it down into the frame one more time. Okay. We're going to thread the pipe cleaners onto, want both pieces to go through, onto the yarn needle. Feel, it's kind of repetitive, I know. Go down through here and feel that needle coming through. Flip it over, pull it up. See, that needle, that yarn needle just makes it so much easier. When I don't use one of those, I get all these nicks on my fingers and my hands because these little boogers right here have wire in them, and they're sharp and they can stab you. And that yarn needle makes it a lot easier to push it through the wreath. And then we're going to take that nub and stick it down through there. Turn it back over. And I purposely placed my sign a little high because I want my bow to go here on the bottom. So take that into consideration too when you're making your wreaths. Got a piece of, oop, it's tearing a hole right there. So you gotta be real careful when you're using greenery and Deco Mesh because it can definitely do that. Now I'm gonna just kind of gently pull some of these cruffles out where they were underneath the sign, and I'm going to attach my bow. I do have a video I show you how to make this bow. It's my 10 loop ribbon bow. And if you need to learn how to make a bow, go back and watch that video. I do use pipe cleaner to secure all of my bows. So I'm going to use my yarn needle. I'm just going to even this up because one of the pipe cleaners is just a little longer than the other. I'm going to take and thread that through. Okay, and I want my tails to be going down. So I'm going to attach my bow again in the middle of the wreath frame. Okay, right down through here. And you don't want to pull your bow really tightly down into the wreath, because if you do, it's going to kind of squish it and it won't be fluffy and pretty. So you just want to, and it's going to squish the bow when I turn it over, but we'll fluff it because I want to show you what I'm doing back here. Same as we did for the sign, I'm going to take that pipe cleaner and put one piece of the pipe cleaner on each side of one of these wire wreath form pieces. Twist it 5 or 6 good times so it won't come off when you're tugging on the bow to fluff it. And you don't, of course, don't want it to fall off when it's hanging on the door. All right, we're just going to stick that down in the middle like we did with the other pieces. Flip it back over. Now see, our bow is squished, but all you have to do to round it out is just take your hand. You can do it like this and kind of round them back out, or just take your two hands and just spread it out, and that'll fluff that bow right back up. You want to use wired ribbon, and the better quality ribbon will make a much better bow, y'all. Okay, just a little tip. All right, so we are finished. What do y'all think? I really hope you give this a try. It's not that hard to do, and you end up with a really pretty wreath that you can hang on your door or to give as a gift. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I hope y'all have a very blessed day. Bye, y'all.